All right. So we just got off of the Majestic Princess on a British Isles cruise. And we're going to be honest with you, the ship was definitely not one of our favorites.
Nope, not our favorite. But the ports really made this cruise worth it.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And we are going to show you a couple of things that we really did find on the ship that made the ship kind of cool.
And we almost missed it. We're going to show you those two things right up front so you don't miss them as well.
And then if you'd like, you can skip through to the parts of the video that you're most interested in.
Yeah, because we'll put the chapter headings in the description so that you can move around at your will.
Yeah. The best meeting place for the group to get the day started is at a local pastry or bakery shop. We don't have as many of these in the US, so be sure to slow down long enough to actually enjoy the experience.
Very sweet.
It's very sweet. So it's a meringue. I had to get this because my sister always makes meringue, but it's a different kind. You like it? It's good.
So we took the train from London Waterloo to Southampton Central, and it took about 90 minutes. It was super easy.
And if you haven't done this yet, this is a great time to do it. Load the Princess app on your phone while you're commuting to the port.
Hopefully you've already done that. Then once you're in the port, take an Uber from the station right to the port, and on board, no stress, no hassle. Let's go over our embarkation routine. We basically do the same thing every time we board a ship, so we're going to share that with you. First of all,
Yep, go ahead.
check as many bags as you possibly can and walk across the security gate with a purse and your camera.
Yeah,
Or what do you
basically nothing. I usually have a sling with my book, sunglasses, super light, because I really don't need anything for the first couple of hours when I get on the ship, and then we can have all the bags brought right to our room.
The lighter, the better.
Yeah.
Don't forget your passport because you kind of need that
Yeah.
after you port your bags.
Hang on to critical documents in a sling.
Medicine.
Yep.
Yeah. If you need to take any medicine before dinner, make sure that you have that in your bag.
Yep.
So once on board, our favorite thing to do.
We grab a drink.
Okay, what'd you get?
And under the mango tree, it's an Irish whiskey with some mango and some lime and some lemon. It's yum.
All right, what are you drinking?
Raspberry ling, and it has absolute raspberry, orange liqueur, and cranberry lime, and it is delicious too. A little strong for me, but it's good for a drink.
Yep.
While you're sitting there with your first drink and your app in your hand, if you haven't done so yet, make sure that you start to book your dinners, especially if you're in specialty dining. Hopefully on Princess, you've had access to the app for about 90 days and have already booked, because we noticed that before,
They fill up quick.
Yeah, they filled up
They fill up
before
quick.
we even
Got
flew
on
out
the
of
ship.
the US.
Yep. So do your best to get those scheduled as early as you can to make sure you get the right times in the right places.
So after your muster, obviously explore some more. So we explore a lot that first day, and we try to make sure that, like Rod said, you get your bearings. But sometimes we miss things. So once the cabins are ready, then we go up to our cabin, we find it, we grab our bags, we pull them into the cabin and unpack.
Yeah.
Kind of relax a little bit, freshen up if we need to, and then get right back out there.
Yeah, you want to be around people.
Yeah. So right after we unpack and, kind of mellow out for a second, it's usually sail away time.
Yeah. pretty
So
cool.
when we're in the cabin, we dress for dinner. Hopefully. We have our clothes by then. Sometimes we have them. Sail away.
Yeah.
On this ship.
On this ship, it was cold. It was rainy. It was cold, so we didn't go up to the deck where they have all the big parties and the pool.
Well, we did. There was just no party.
Yeah, it was too cold to do that.
Too cold.
So yeah.
So the party ended up in the Piazza, which is the central place on the Princess ship, and we ended up in O'Malley's because that's one of our favorite places on Princess.
Yep, for sure.
I'm gonna have a Clover Breeze. Looks like this. It is absolute vodka, lavender, lemon, and melon. Oh,
Sounds good.
it is very good. Might have to have this one again.
We like to reserve dinner about an hour after sail away. Just the timing works very well. And one tip for you is that if you do specialty dining on that first night, you can usually get reserved seating very easily, even if you waited until the last minute.
No, we decided to keep exploring and we found a little more today.
Yeah, it's a fun little section.
Okay, this is the spot that we almost missed, and it might be the best place on the entire ship. So don't wait until the end of your cruise to find this one.
Second best spot in my opinion. I really like the spa. Anyways,
Okay.
yeah. Guess what? Today is our first sea day.
Oh, yeah.
It's the first time we've had a time to take a breath. We're finding cool spots on the ship that we haven't seen before. Like, where are we?
The conservatory.
We're at the conservatory with the rope and Professor Plum. At the top of the ship, game place, it's quiet, it's great. There's a bar out here. There's an indoor swimming pool. That's a good idea. Because it's freaking cold outside. And anyways, we're finding stuff on the ship today.
Which is good because it was feeling a little bit crowded, always only going to deck 5.
Time to let your legs recover, a little bit more time in the thermal suite.
Yep. Good dinner tonight.
Yep, we'll have some steak tonight. Should be good.
Yep.
The Hollywood Conservatory. It's on deck 17. It's a glass dome, climate controlled, adults only, and it's complimentary. You won't find this on any other Princess ship.
We didn't find this until day 7, which was our first sea day, and we almost didn't jump on that elevator.
What you'll find is 180-degree ocean views, comfortable lounges, giant chests, topiary sculptures, and xylophones. There's also a back section with private cabanas, couches, TVs, some of which you can reserve. And because it's connected to the Hollywood Pool Club right next door, if it's cold or too windy to be outside, this is where you want to be.
Yep, go find the conservatory on day 1. Don't wait. Don't almost miss it like we did.
This was the one thing that really made the ship worth it for us.
The other thing that made this ship worth it, O'Malley's. This became our favorite spot on the entire ship.
100%. Food, drinks, live music, had energy, had a great atmosphere. Felt like the one place where people were actually having a good time together. Best entertainment we found on board was Kind Ears, and we made as many of their shows as possible.
They've also got fish and chips, burgers, a full bar, and depending on when you walk in, there's a live band that makes it really hard to leave. On this itinerary, it was Kind Ears. It's on deck 5, right in the Piazza, tucked in where the Salty Dog used to be.
We kept coming back to O'Malley's because it had something the rest of the ship didn't, which is life.
Yeah, so if you sail on the Majestic, make O'Malley's your regular spot. Don't just pass through. Sit down, get a drink, and stay for that music.
All right, this side, this side. What about this side? You're gonna have a tough decision, son. The captain's side of plan, the captain's side of plan, the captain's side of plan.
The Enclave is on deck 5. It is a full thermal suite.
There's a hydrotherapy pool, which is a large central pool equipped with therapeutic massage jets and cascading rain shower and a pressurized back and shoulder jet.
There's heated loungers, one of our favorite spots, thermal stone beds that radiate warmth to help relieve muscle tension.
A Lanconium, which is a Roman heated chamber with infused aromas to help with purification and detoxification.
It always smells great in there. The Caldarium, which is Roman warm light steam shower with infused aromas. Walls and floors are heated for deep penetrating warmth. It does promote a feeling of well-being and relaxation.
And the Hammam, it's a Turkish style steam bath with an infused aroma that enhances well-being as well.
Yep, they do have sensory showers. They're immersive, multi-setting showers. Cools down in between thermal sessions, steam rooms, and the works.
We bought the thermal suite pass and we used it every single day, even on port days. So it was a perfect way to warm up after being out in the cold.
And it was cold outside.
Yeah.
Don't wait to buy your pass. Prices do go up on embarkation day. Get it before you board.
If you don't want to splurge for the full pass, you can purchase it day by day once you are on board. So just check at the spot app.
On a cold weather itinerary like this one, it's almost a must. We look forward to it every single day.
And there are lockers in the changing room, but I actually opt to throw my swimsuit and cover up on and walk straight into the thermal suite and back to my cabin afterwards.
Yep. And if you want to stay fit in your routine, there is a gym. It's located on deck 17. Sea days are the busiest. We found ourselves not using it with this itinerary because we were out.
Hey, you did go to the gym.
I went to the gym one time. Yeah, one time. The rest of the time, we were exhausted. It was a full itinerary.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about dining.
Got to be honest with you again. We were quite underwhelmed by the food.
Yeah, it really felt like chain dining, like Olive Garden in the Italian restaurant. It feels like the quality's gone way down.
Yeah, thank God for the ports because that's where we found our food.
And the
on
food
this
was
ship,
awesome.
Or on
Yeah.
this itinerary, I should say.
After we got out of England, England's kind of bland, but the rest of the food was great.
I disagree.
Okay, so if you're a foodie like we are, we recommend getting a lot of your food in the ports. It was fantastic.
Oh, that's true. And we're going to show you every single meal that we had both on board and in the ports. So go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the really good food.
Yeah.
We'll start with the Crown Grill up on deck 7. We always make it a point to eat here because it's the best specialty restaurant on the ship, and a lot of frequent cruisers would agree with that, which makes it a very tough reservation to land. So book it early, especially on these longer British Isles itinerary, and book one more evening than you expect you'll want to eat there. The menu does cover steaks, chops, and seafood, and they bring 3 gourmet salts to the table, which is kind of fun. If you're a steak lover, there's also a Nolan Ryan beef option. It's dry aged cuts that come at an upcharge. So if it's your thing to eat really good steak, it's worth it. Down on deck 5 in the Piazza, Sabatini's Italian Trattoria is usually easier to get into. Just manage your expectations before you walk in the door, because if you're looking for authentic Italian, this one's not it. So think more of a high quality Olive Garden experience. This menu has been refreshed with Frescobaldi wine partnership, giving it a Tuscan feel. So think truffle fettuccine burrata with aged prosciutto and a rotating pasta selection. It does bring it up a notch. So 5 courses here, come hungry, and once per cruise, they'll do a grand Tuscan dinner, which is basically 6 courses that are paired with Frescobaldi wines, and it might be worth looking into, but we saved our money for the food in the ports and opted not to do the Grand Tuscan dinner. When those British Isles port days run very long, like in France, Alfredo slice in the Piazza is a solid option. It's casual, it's quick, well, quicker, and it's easy after a full day ashore. It is open lunch and dinner, and here's a tip. It's also open on embarkation day, so if you want to skip the buffet chaos, go ahead and head there first. The main dining rooms are spread across decks 5 and 6. It's Allegro, Concerto, and Symphony. There's full table service, and the menu rotates every night. It's complimentary, and surprisingly, this was the best MDR food across the fleet. At least that was our opinion. Also on deck 5 in the Piazza is O'Malley's. It's bar food, it's not specialty dining, so you get bangers and mash, fish and chips, burgers, and chicken wings in the evening. You have to wait until after 9 o'clock for the chicken wings, so it's kind of late. But when the live music is going and you don't want to give up your seat, we just order the wings and stay put. There are 2 different menus. There's the daytime one and then the after 9 o'clock ones. Up Up on deck 16, the World Fresh Marketplace is exactly what you expect from a buffet. It has global options, it rotates daily. So it's quick, it's easy, it gets the job done, but we found out a little secret, and in the back of the dessert section, it's got the best ice cream sundae on the ship right there. So you just order off the menu, and if you have a Princess Premier package, it's completely included.
All right, so what we skipped on this one is the Catch by Rudy.
And the sushi bar,
Yep, why did we skip those?
because we didn't like them at all on the Sun Princess. There was nothing that Melody could eat.
Yeah, we don't eat a ton of fish, and Melody definitely does not like sushi, so we skipped those.
Yep, we skipped those. But if you are a fish lover and like sushi, those restaurants had a lot of people.
We heard
dining
good
at.
reviews from both of them.
Yep.
So,
There's one more thing.
okay.
On sea days, the main dining room serves breakfast, but it ends at 9 a.m., so don't sleep in.
Yeah, we found out that the hard way.
The piazza is the hub of the ship, and she just came out of dry dock, so everything feels brand new. This is where you'll find the International Cafe, which is a good meeting spot before excursions on port days.
Yeah, absolutely. For sailaways, we headed up to the Lido deck. We're in Southampton, not the Caribbean. It was a little bit cold. We lasted about 5 minutes. We ended up back in the piazza pretty quick, which turned out to be the better call anyways.
Yep, Good Spirits at Sea is worth a stop for a fun cocktail experience.
My starry night's not very starry. There's no gold in it this time. Oh, look, maybe there's one. Nope, that's just a bubble. What'd you get?
An old fashioned.
The ship has the Princess Theater on deck 6 and 7 for full production shows, Princess Live on deck 7 for cooking demos, comedy and interactive shows, and the Vista Lounge at the aft of deck 7 for comedians, musicians, and late night entertainment.
They're all here. We just didn't find ourselves rushing to any of them.
Yeah.
Port side is blue carpet and starboard is red carpet.
Which side of the ship do you prefer, red or blue?
Let's talk about the cabin. We booked a balcony, and on Majestic Princess, a standard balcony cabin gives you 222 square feet total, including a 41 square foot balcony.
So to put that into perspective, the balcony fits a table and 2 chairs. That's it.
The cabin itself has a very comfortable bed for a cruise ship.
Yep, blackout curtains, a flat screen TV, and a mini cooler that they call a fridge.
We also had an in-room safe, but the battery was dead on ours the entire time, so it didn't keep anything safe, but we didn't need it.
Storage was tighter than you expect for a longer cruise. There are drawers, a closet, and some shelving.
But you're going to feel every square foot of that 181 square feet of interior space.
Just to show you, walking around. Like he has to, kind of hang out, and there's no room for him.
Biggest complaint I have is there's only one chair in here outside of the balcony, and it's really cold outside, so you really have to sit on the bed if you're going to read or do anything if your wife's using her desk.
Yeah, okay, so let's flip around and show you that. Okay, so this is the area that Rod's talking about as far as the sitting area here. That. And then this awesomely freezing cold space outside. We have gone out one time and didn't stay there.
So next we want to talk about what didn't work on this ship and then tell you what we really liked, what saved it for us. So first of all,
Yeah.
what did you not like?
There were a few things, sadly. The first that we ought to talk about is the entertainment. It was, again, underwhelming. We've seen some really amazing shows at sea. These were kind of mediocre.
Yeah, if I could have walked out of a couple of them, I would have. But after the second or third day, we just didn't go back to
Yep.
entertainment.
The other thing we noticed is that there was one set of musicians on board that were phenomenal. It was kind ears. The rest of them were not kind to your ears, right? They were just kind of okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the other thing that we did not like about this ship was all of the, many of the ports, not all of them, but many of the ports were tender ports, which if you haven't had that experience before, it's not very comfortable. You got to go and you got to get a number, and then you got to wait in line until they call the number. And if you've got plans for every port like we do,
You got to
then-
get up as soon as they set the table up to get your number. You're going to get late
Yeah.
to the shore. And it does cut, honestly, it cuts about an hour off of the shore days because you got a half hour in and a half hour back after you get on the tender.
Yeah, so you could run very late on those tender days. So that wasn't very fun. They could have done that a little bit more efficiently. Also, on this ship, it was the general energy of it was a little bit different, and it's mostly because the audience, the guests on Princess cruise ships, tend to be a little bit older, like us, and no family.
Yeah,
So
there
the
weren't any
energy was,
kids.
yeah.
Yep.
So the energy was, kids bring energy.
And another thing, and look, we're being picky. We totally understand
Yeah.
it. It's an amazing vacation, so don't take this the wrong way.
Yeah.
But the ship's layout is not ideal,
gosh.
right? Like the piazza is right in the center, and everywhere that music is being played
Yeah.
is all around. And so musicians have to cut off right at their time. Even if you're loving them, they can't do any encores. That was frustrating.
That is really frustrating because you are enjoying a show like Kind Ears. They were really great. We're enjoying them. We want them to come back on stage, and they absolutely can't.
And they couldn't.
And
Yep.
then it shifts over to blues or something that
What
wasn't.
sounded like karaoke, but wasn't. It was.
It was once or twice karaoke. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, whatever it wasn't something that we wanted to be entertained by. And so the layout of the ship with the piazza is not our favorite. There are some ships that have the same layout that actually have walls so that you can enjoy your music in O'Malley's, or you can go to the venue and have it closed off. But this particular ship, it was very open. So, yep. Okay. So what saved it for us? There are a couple of things that we really did like.
really did
Obviously, O'Malley's. That
Yep.
was our favorite.
That was fantastic.
Yep, that was fantastic.
The conservatory was such a great place too. It was warm,
Yep.
so it had the glass and the sun coming through, so it was really warm in there. There was a pool, there was a hot tub, bar right there. The bar did close a little early for the day, but around the back
6
adults only
o'clock?
section,
Something like that. It was
Yep.
very early.
lots of places to play games. There was a lot of that going on.
And it was toasty warm. I mean, because it was really cold outside and you couldn't even go to the Lido deck. So the
Yeah.
conservatory really was a very pleasant place to be. But here's one thing. We really did almost miss this. The only reason that I searched to find it was because somebody in the elevator said, "Did you know there's a covered pool?"
There's a little hallway, and it's weird. It's on deck 17. There's a little hallway you got to walk through to get to the cool part of the ship, and for a while we didn't know it was there. Now,
Yeah.
in 7 days in, we found it on the 7th day, but there weren't really any sea days, so it was constant movement for us. And
Yep.
by the time we got back and had dinner and grabbed a drink, we were exhausted.
Yeah, exactly. So the other thing that really saved this trip for us, or Majestic Princess for us, is the Enclave. We absolutely love the thermal suite. I could go in, warm up, and it really.
Oh, if you're going anywhere cold, this
It's a
was the
must.
first. This was the first ship through this itinerary this season. So we were on the early end. It was still pretty cold and windy in most of those places. And I'll tell you what, Melody wouldn't have survived without the Enclave, and I enjoyed it. So it was awesome.
What is your favorite thing in the Enclave? I mean, I love the thermal beds. I could just fall asleep.
And I like it all. I actually like it all. The one thing that I didn't use was the pool and the hot
Yeah.
tub in there. I
Yeah, me neither.
didn't, but I used every steam room. I used the dry sauna, the wet sauna, the scent sauna, and the chairs.
Yep. So I didn't use the showers. I have. So don't discount those. I have used the showers. I have gotten into the little hydro pool, but this time I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all fun, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, go check it all out.
You know what saved this whole trip for us was that it was such a port intensive itinerary. We were gone from sunup to sundown, which, really you could get away with an inside cabin if you didn't want the balcony and wanted to save that money, because you really weren't in the cabin for very
Yeah, for
long
sure.
at all.
Amazing history. There's plenty of stuff to keep you intellectually stimulated after, as you try and process everything that you got to see during the day. It was awesome.
I would actually do this itinerary again because there's so much to see and so much to do in every single port.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. If you've made it this far, hit the subscribe button, tap that notification bell, and see where we go next.
Yeah, our next stop is going to be Falmouth. We'll take you there.
Yep, we'll show you the food, we'll show you the itinerary, and then you can choose for yourself whether or not that sounds like a good day.